Thanks very much for joining me this morning. My name is Patrick Coleman. I'm leading the webinar this morning. My role here at Aztecs is as Director of Studies at the Barcelona office, where amongst many fascinating, interesting and enthralling functions, my principal role is the coordination of the teaching team that we have here in Barcelona. I've been working in human resources, predominantly on the training side of things, for more years than I care to count, probably now 28, 29 years, during which time I've dedicated a lot of my time to working with language, teaching in all sorts of different circumstances, predominantly working with business clients in businesses, in group classes, in one-to-one classes, and in a variety of seminars and other training areas. One of the things that has been really difficult for everybody, I think, over the last few weeks is the isolation, everybody having to deal with confinement, being cut off, not being able to communicate perfectly well, not being able to interact with others to the same degree to which we're all used. And this is a question which relates in a way to language as well, and that's something that we're going to be looking at as we move through the webinar. Well, one of my initial problems when I first came to Spain, or to Catalonia, was not being able to speak the language. And this had some drawbacks, some complications, presented me with some problems. But I did discover that there were some words which I could say and which normally got a reaction. One of which was cerveza, one of which was por favor. And usually with those two, or variations on those two ideas, café, estación, etc., I discovered slowly that I could make myself understood and could achieve what I wanted to achieve. So, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to talk about how we communicate and how we can express ourselves without having a complete control of the language, and how we can understand interactions with others according to what they say. Now, in my teaching experience, one of the bigger problems I've discovered that students tend to have is the stress associated, or the lack of confidence associated with being exposed to listening exercises. And a common trait, a common problem, is that students, people in general, have, when they are working with a new language, have the tendency, the temptation, to try and understand every word and try and hear every word that's being said. And that's not important. That's not one of the principal challenges we have to overcome. If I can say dos cervezas and nothing else, in the right situation, perhaps a bar, perhaps a restaurant, 2 beers might arrive. And I'm not really expressing anything. I'm not creating any kind of complicated language structure. I'm simply using words, 2 words that I control, 2 words, or 3 words in this case, with por favor, 4 words. Words which can be universally understood and which can get a result. So that's what we're going to concentrate on today in this webinar. One of the problems we've had, as I mentioned earlier, during the COVID-19 confinement period is the lack of contact, the lack of interaction. So one thing that I would like to encourage you to do during this webinar is to try and interact with me as much as possible. So you have a chat function which you can use to bring your point, your question, or whatever to my attention. You also have, as I mentioned before, the button which enables you to silence and open your microphone. Okay, and I'm sorry about this, but I will be inviting people, possibly even on a random basis, to contribute to the webinar by speaking themselves. Okay, so let's go. What's this webinar about? Well, it's about this: stress patterns, intonation, and rhythm. Okay. As it says on your screen, and I hope you can all see that, today we'll be looking at how to pronounce and emphasize words according to the job they perform in the sentence. We're also going to be looking at how to apply correct sentence rhythm following syllable stress patterns. We're going to be looking at stressed and unstressed syllables and how differences in pronunciation can change the meanings of words in a sentence. Okay, here we go. So the question is, what job do words perform? What does each word we use do? And which words do you hear? Well, let's go back to the previous example. When I said that my initial control of Spanish was centered on ordering things, café, cerveza, etc., etc., the jobs that the words were doing was identifying my specific focus, my specific interest. And these were the words, the only words that I was using at that time, which I hoped, and it proved to be the case, that the waiters or whoever was serving me could hear. So, what does each word do, and which words do we hear? So I guess there are essentially two types of word. In any sentence, we have content words. And these are the words which give meaning and sense to the phrase. If there are no content words, there is nothing that we are saying. The content words are the words which identify the meaning and give some sense of logic to the sentence. And as it says here, without these words, there's no message, and the phrase cannot be understood. These are content words. And we also have function words, sometimes called grammar words, and these are the words which create the structure necessary to define the relationships between the content words. Let's continue. When we speak, when we try to communicate, one of these types of words is clearly more audible. Who'd like to tell me which type of words, content words or function words, are more easily audible? Who'd like to tell me? Anybody? No? Okay. Well, let's continue. Which sorts of words are in each type? There are two types, remember? Content words and function words. Let's have a look at the content words. So some of our content words are nouns and proper nouns. No sentence would have any meaning without some kind of subject, some kind of way of identifying what's being talked about. So we have nouns like language, like training, like company, like Aztecs. We have proper nouns like Patrick, like Barcelona. We also have indirect object pronouns. in this case, what we are doing with indirect object pronouns is identifying specifically and emphasizing the person who is the indirect object of the action. So normally with the preposition to her, to me, to her, to them, etc. Adjectives. Well, adjectives are content words because they describe a subject or an object, give that subject or object more value, more character. And with no adjectives, things are more difficult to contextualize. Some examples of adjectives, things like well-known, successful, modern, professional. Then we have words or phrases describing an action, and these are adverbs. Typically, adverbs are ways of helping us understand how an action is realized, the manner in which the action is realized, but it could also be the time, could be the place, how often, the frequency, or the degree. We then have principal verbs. Now, it's obvious that principal verbs are essential to any kind of sentence. Without a principal verb, without a verb, we really don't know what's going on. So a content word is critically important. Auxiliary verbs in negative phrases. Well, as we'll see later on, auxiliary verbs in negative phrases are content words insofar as they clarify that an affirmation is not the case and we're talking about something in a negative context. Examples: don't, can't, won't, hasn't, etc. We've also got numbers. Numbers help us to understand quantities, obviously, and help us to understand the position in a sequence. And these are cardinal numbers like 1, 7, etc., etc., and the ordinal numbers first, 7th, etc., etc. Content words. Question words are also content words, giving some kind of context to what it is we're trying to find out. Question words like who, what, why, when, where, how much, how many, but not in composites. The word which, for example, in the composite question, which color, is not a content word. Color is. We also have long multisyllabic prepositions. These are prepositions which specify positions, not relationships between words, but positions. And multisyllabic prepositions are things like against, below, between, beneath, etc., etc. We also have demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives. And these are things which signal very clearly specific things we want to talk about. This is the only time, or that methodology is better than this methodology. And we have possessive pronouns. These are content words of certain importance, where the possessive pronouns signal the ownership of an object. For example, mine, yours, his, etc., etc. And finally, quantifiers, which help us to understand the context of an amount. These are content words, in this case, a lot of, a few, helping us to understand an amount involved in any context. So, those were the main categories of content words. Any problems with this? I'm just looking at the chat. Somebody, Alfonso, is saying hello. Yeah. Susana is saying will do. Just one thing, I can hear you properly, but your voice does not match with the image. And Monica is saying contain. And Aitor is saying I don't know. And somebody is saying everything clear. Can you not see me? Can you see me? Yeah? Can you see me and can you hear me? Everything okay? Yes. Fantastic. But you can see me before hearing me. And David says, no problem. David, no problem with audio. Everybody okay? Okay. And Aitor is asking a question here. Can you give an example with auxiliaries? I don't know if I can give an example with auxiliaries. Does that help? Somebody wasn't able to see me. Aitor, thank you, with a thumbs up. Okay. Let's go back to the presentation. We've talked about content words. Let's have a look now at the function words. Can you all see that? Can everybody see the screen? Yeah, okay, fantastic, great. Let's continue then. Function words. Well, we said there were two types of words, content words, and we've analyzed some of those content words. We've talked about nouns, indirect object pronouns, adjectives. We've talked about adverbs, principal verbs, auxiliary verbs in negative phrases. Aitor, eh? We've talked about numbers, question words, multisyllabic prepositions, demonstrative pronouns, etc., etc., etc. So let's have a look at function words, and let's hope the list is not as long. Well, subject and direct object pronouns, these are function words. In some respects, they're important, but the context will give us an idea of what is being referenced. These are function words to help create some kind of logical sentence. Yes, the verb be. The verb be, well, the verb be, where it is the principal and only verb, is a verb which tends not to be emphasized specifically. It's more a function word than a content word. And you know, and we will see further ahead, that be, particularly in the present tense, is one of those words which is often contracted according to the subject before it. Okay, let's continue. Auxiliary and modal auxiliary verbs, and these are verbs which are used for creating tenses and structures. These are words like do, have, will, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and we will see further ahead that these are primarily function words rather than content words. Short prepositions. These are words which connect nouns or pronouns or phrases to other words. And a short preposition is a monosyllabic preposition. And you can see here some examples: at, for, in, off, on, if, these kind of words. Possessive adjectives, well, these indicate ownership and might be considered important, but again, context relegates possessive adjectives to function words rather than content words. Possessive adjectives are things like my, your, his, her, its, our, etc., etc. Then we have definite and indefinite articles. And these modify nouns by labeling them specifically. So the definite article the or the, and the indefinite articles or an are function words. We then have conjunctions. These are words which connect sentences, connect clauses, connect phrases, or connect words, and are typically things like but and for, etc., etc. Great. That's the grammar bit finished. Okay, so any questions, any problems with this? Remember, you have the chat box. Everybody okay? Yep. Okay, fantastic. So let's continue. Good. Can you all see the screen okay? Please let me know if you can. Okay. Well, we've talked about different types of words, two different types of words. We've talked about content words on the one hand and function words on the other. And I've given you some indication of which types of words appear in each category. The function words were subject pronouns, the verb be, auxiliary verbs, short prepositions, possessive adjectives, etc., etc. So now we know which kind of words are in which category, but does that really help us? Well, let's check it out. If we create a rule, this will help us to express ourselves with the right emphasis, the right rhythm, and the right intonation. And it'll also help us, I think, understand others when they're communicating with us. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to emphasize or stress the content words. These are the words, remember, that give meaning to the sentence. Without the content words, we've got no idea what's happening at all. And by definition, if we emphasize or stress the content words, we understate and we compress the function words. What does this mean? Well, in these questions, we've got content words and function words. Can you all see that? I think you can. Rosario is saying yes. Alfonso is saying yes. Okay. What I want to do is to invite you, please, just 1 second, please. Okay. I'd like to invite you to tell me which of these words in these two questions are content words and which are the function words. Who'd like to do that? Anybody? Hello? Okay, Monica Biaran says name and live are content words. Okay, that could be the case. Are there any other content words in these questions? Anybody? Okay, and I'm sorry I don't know your name. Enmi Condom says what and where. Mireia, thank you, Mireia. Thank you very much. What and where? Yes, they are, aren't they? What is a question word, and we said that question words are content words. Where is a question word, and we said where is a content word. Question words are content words. And name, this is a noun, and live, this is a verb. So in both of these cases, the content words, the question words, and the final word in these short monosyllabic phrases are the words which give content. This means really that if we eliminate the function words, the words which are not content words, we could have some kind of meaningful phrase. Let's have a look and see how this works. Okay, if we stress the content words, we compress the function words, we've decided. So how do we put stress on certain syllables? Well, we put stress on certain syllables by saying those syllables more loudly, more clearly, and more slowly. It's fractional. It's not very slow. It's fractional. It's not very much more clearly. It's fractional. It's not very much more loudly, but generally content words are louder, are clearer, are slower. And as a result, if we are stressing syllables, we are by definition compressing unstressed syllables, and these syllables become shorter. And they tend to connect. What does this mean? Well, it means this. Our words are now connected in a series of contiguous sounds, like this. I don't know if any of you might have attended some other webinars. One of my colleagues, Michael, has done webinars on pronunciation, and Michael takes very seriously the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is great and very useful for helping us understand how to pronounce things. But it's something that we have to learn. It's something that we need to understand, and it's another tool which sometimes not everybody is that excited about learning. You can see I've written two words here. I've written these words in my own phonetic style, basing myself on how these words would be written, or how these contiguous sounds would be written if they were written in Spanish. So now is the moment I would like somebody to activate their microphone and read this first word, please. Who's going to do that? Anybody want to raise their hand, activate their microphone? Hello. David. David. Okay, can you pronounce this first word for us, David? You'll have to...
What's your name?
Can you say that again?
What's your name?
Oh, and again?
What's your name?
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, David. And can somebody have a look at the second word and tell me how they would read that and pronounce it? Anybody? Somebody want to raise their hand? Anybody? Mireia, do you want to activate your microphone and say that for us?
Where do you live?
Again?
Where do you live?
Okay, and again?
Where do you live?
Perfect. Perfect. That's excellent. That's excellent. So what we can see here is in the first sentence, thank you, Mireia. The first sentence, the first word, what, we decided was a content word, and name was a content word, with the effect of compressing is and your and producing a sound like je. As David said, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? And we can also see in this construction that the verb be as the principal verb, and as we said, was a function word, be has been condensed, compressed, and contracted. So it's not what is, it's what's. And the word your, which is our possessive adjective, we also know this is a function word, and it's also compressed. So it's not your, it's yeah. What's your name? The same thing has happened here in the second question. Where, this is a question word, is one of our content words, and live is the, the principal verb in this function. And the two intermediary words, do, the auxiliary verb, and you, the subject pronoun, have also been condensed, squashed by the two content words. And this has produced the sound, where do you live? Where do you live? Okay? In both cases, I've written these sounds with an A. What's your name? Where do you live? In fact, these sounds, as they compress more, become what we call a schwa sound, which is in fact not a, but What's your name? Where do you live? Okay, let's continue. Excuse me. Stress pattern comes from stressing syllables, not whole words. It's not possible for us to stress whole words. In fact, somebody once told me there is only one word in the whole world where all syllables are stressed. That is a Spanish word. It's the word Zaragoza. Okay, so it's true, and you know this from your own experience learning English, that rules in English exist to be broken. But there are some guidelines to help us. So let's have a look at these. Nouns with more than one syllable, our stress is on the first syllable. On the first syllable. Who can read these three words for me? Anybody? Hello? Anybody? I've got two participants. I've got well, let's do it. Can you both open your microphones, please? I can't identify who you are.
Hello.
Hello, who's that?
Maria.
Hello. Okay. And who else?
I think it's Mireia. She still has the hand up.
Okay, good. Well, Maria, can you read these three words for me, please?
English, music, syllable.
Fantastic. Okay, so you can see in all of these cases, nouns with more than one syllable, it's the first syllable that's accented, that's stressed. English, music, syllable. Okay, what about verbs with more than one syllable? Well, in this case, it's the second syllable which is emphasized, which is stressed. Who'd like to read these three words for me? Anybody?
Yes. Hello, I'm Alfonso.
Alfonso, thank you. Welcome to the verbal part of the webinar. Would you like to read these words for me, please?
Exist, relax, remember.
Perfect. Okay. Can you read them again and move your head as well to stress the emphasized syllable?
Exist. Relax. Remember.
Okay, good. Okay, let's have a look at participles. When we're using the progressive tenses, participles, which are the root of the verb with the ing ending, it's normally the first syllable which is emphasized. Who'd like to read these words for me, please? Anybody? Nobody? Maria?
Hello?
Yeah, read this for me, please.
I will do it.
Okay. Susana. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reading,
Yeah.
writing,
Yeah.
listening.
Fantastic. And do you want to continue and read the long prepositions for me? Here we've got an accent on the second syllable.
Yes,
Hello?
sure. Against, below, between.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. So there we've got some rules. Remember, in English, all rules exist to be broken, but we've got some ideas. Okay. So let's have a look at this sentence. I'm going to read this sentence to you, and then we're going to analyze, deconstruct, and decide how it functions. At the end of the day, I often relax listening to music. At the end of the day, I often relax listening to music. At the end of the day, I often relax listening to music. So let's look at the words in the first part of the sentence and eliminate the function words. Who can tell me which are the function words in this first part of the sentence? Which are the function words? Anybody? Who would like to identify the function words? Oh. Susanna, I think you still no. No, your microphone's not. Who wants to identify the function words? Mireia.
No, I can do it if you want.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Who's speaking? Hello.
Susanna.
Ah, okay, Susanna. Yes, please.
I
Which other
think
function? Yeah.
the de,
Yeah.
of, and de.
De, of, and de. Okay. Well, let's have a look at these words. At is a short preposition.
Perhaps
So this is a function word. The is an article.
okay.
This is a function word. End is a noun. This is a content word. Of is a preposition. The is an article, and de is a noun. This is a content word. Okay? So let's have a look at the second part of the sentence. And let's eliminate the function words from the second part of the sentence and the unstressed syllables in the content words. So here we've got I often, relax, listening, music. When we've done this exercise, we end up with this sequence of syllables. End, day, of, lax, list, muse. End, day, of, lax, list, muse. And this gives us this sentence. Remember, these are my Spanish graphics. Who would like to read this sentence for me? Anybody? Anybody want to raise their hand? Anybody? David, can you read this sentence for us?
At the end that let me try. Okay. At the end of the day, I often relax listening to music.
Okay. Okay. This Z, the Z is a F sound. Okay. These are my Spanish graphics. Remember. Can you read it again, please, David?
Well, I know what was written before.
Yeah, this is the sound.
At the end of the day, I often relax listening to music.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. So you can see here that highlighted in orange are the content words. End, day. Here, the first syllable of often, which is an adverb. The second syllable of relax, which is a verb. The first syllable of listening. This is a participle. And the first syllable of music, which is a noun. Okay, so let's have a look at these sentences here. I haven't seen a lot of the city since I've been here in Barcelona. Okay, let's identify which are the important words, which are the content words in this sentence. Who'd like to do that? Anybody? Anybody? Who's? Susanna?
Yep.
Yep.
I can see the screen now.
Yeah, I know. That's it. Let's do it again. I think that's the one we want. Yes. Can you see it now? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Which are our content words?
I'm sorry, but just seen your screen on Zoom. join the meeting.
This is that all you can see? Yeah. Let's try that again.
Yeah. Now just I can see you.
Okay, 1 second. Let's try that again. Here we go. Sorry, there we go. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I haven't seen a lot of the city since I've been here in Barcelona.
Okay, which are the content words, do you think? Which are the words which are emphasized?
Haven't seen?
Yeah.
City, a lot of the city.
Uh-huh.
City, sorry.
Yeah.
Only city, sorry.
Yeah.
And being here, Barcelona.
Okay, good. This is the sentence. I haven't seen a lot of the city since being here in Barcelona. Okay, these are the content words. Haven't seen, lot, city, here, Barcelona. Let's try this one. What do you think are the most important things I should see? Can somebody repeat that sentence for me, please? Anybody? Hello? Nobody? Okay. Which is the best view of the city, from Montjuic or Tibidabo? Anybody want to repeat that for me? No? Okay, let's continue. What is the first thing you're going to do when the confinement is officially revoked? Anybody? Hello? Can you open your microphone and say that? Two participants have raised their hands, but I can't say who they are. Anybody?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
Mireia.
Mireia
Okay.
speaking. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to read this for me?
Okay. What is the first thing you are going to do when the confinement is officially revoked?
Excellent. Okay. So we've got a question word here. What? Then we've got an ordinal number. First thing is a noun. What is the first thing going to do when the confinement is a noun here, is officially an adverb. Revoked is part of the verb. It's the past participle of the verb. Excellent. Who's going to read this for me, please? Mireia, do you want to continue?
Okay. I know who I will probably kiss first.
Yes. Okay. So we've got the verb know, we've got the adverb probably, and we've got the principal verb kiss, and we've got this ordinal number here at the end of the phrase. I know who I will probably kiss first. So in all of these cases, and thank you very much, in all of these cases, we've been looking at phrases in a neutral sense. We've been placing the most common emphasis in the places that we think appropriate. But one of the things we wanted to do today was to look at how differences in stress patterns can change the meaning of the sentence. So let's look at the next section. We can change the meaning of the sentence by putting the stress on different words. So you can see we've repeated the sentence here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, but with the emphasis on different parts of the sentence. In the first case, the emphasis is on I. In the second, no. In the third, who. In the fourth, I'll. In the fifth, probably. In the 6th, kiss. And in the 7th, first. Who would like to read the first sentence for me with the emphasis on the first word? Anybody? Anybody want to do this? No. No. Okay, I've got 2 participants who have raised their hands, but again, I can't see who they are. Somebody who's not Mireia, perhaps? Mireia. Yeah, okay. Can you read the first sentence for me?
Okay. I know who I'll probably kiss first.
Okay, so if we put thank you very much. If we put the emphasis on the first word, I know who I'll probably kiss first. What we're saying is, I know, but you don't know who you're going to kiss first. I do, I know. And in the second sentence, I know who I'll probably kiss first. I know I'll end up kissing. That's going to happen. In the third sentence, I know who I'll probably kiss first. There are various options, but perhaps the main target. In the fourth phrase, I know who I'll probably kiss first. This means it won't be the same person that you might kiss first. I know who I'll probably kiss first in the 5th sentence. This really means I'll be kissing some people, but I haven't decided which will be the first person, or who will be the first person I kiss. I know who I'll probably kiss first. This is in the 6th sentence. This means I'll kiss them before I hug them or before I shake their hand. Okay? And in the final sentence, I know who I'll probably kiss first. This means I'll be kissing a few people or lots of people, but there's somebody who will get the first kiss. So you can see by placing emphasis on different words in the sentence, you can change the meaning quite clearly of that. Okay. I mentioned earlier that my colleague Michael is a great proponent of using the International Phonetic Alphabet in his pronunciation seminars. I'm just going to give you 2 syllables here, symbols here. This symbol, the top one, is the schwa sound, and this is the sound which is the most common sound. And this sound here is ah. So to round off today's webinar, I'm just going to show the contrast between these 2 sounds and how that affects the interpretation of the sentence. In this case, in the first verb, the auxiliary verb can, it's the schwa sound because it's affirmation. In the second part of the sentence, it's negative and it's an extended vowel sound. I can drive, but I can't swim. Well, thank you once again for taking part. I hope it's been interesting for you. I hope it's been useful. Okay. And see you again soon.